Hello everyone, and thanks for watching my video. In this little video I'm just going to show you some examples of what the Sigma 150 to 600 contemporary lens can do. Have a look, tell me what you think in the comments. I appreciate it if you subscribe to the channel because it does help, and I hope you enjoy the samples I have for you to have a look at. So thank you for watching. Hello everyone, and thanks for coming and listening to this and watching this video. Anyway, in this video I'm going to go through some examples that I've got from the 150 to 600 contemporary Sigma lens. These pictures are a mixture probably from my 7D, the original one, and a second-hand 1D Mark III. So obviously there'll be a little bit of a mixture there, but a lot of people have commented on the 150 to 600 and said the lens is not sharp. I disagree with that. If any of you guys out there who've got the sport version of this lens, obviously this will apply to you as well, because a lot of these images you'll be able to achieve with that lens, if not a little bit better at the long end, the 600mm, 500 to 600mm end. But check out my other video regarding my tests between all three, the 150 to 600 lenses. So without further ado, let's go through these examples. So here we have a squirrel, literally about 3 meters away, so I was really close. So let's just have a look at the data for the actual picture. 374mm, 6.3, ISO 1600. You are always going to be pushing the ISO on this lens, unfortunately, due to the fact that it doesn't let a lot of light in. That's a disadvantage to it. But if you've got a good camera, it should be fine. So, without further ado, that's a Mark III, by the way, 1D Mark III. So let's zoom in. 50%. 100%. Personally, I think 100% is more than enough for this lens. You see, the thing is with the 150 to 600 Sigma zoom lens is, unlike with the Canon 100 to 400, where you will always have to crop your image, you don't always have to crop. So, you know, this might be too big and you might want to zoom out a little bit, you know. So sometimes zooming in, you don't need to really. So obviously cropping isn't a necessary evil, basically. So let's have a look at the next image. Similar sort of picture. The file data, 1D Mark III, ISO 800, f8. We was running quite slow at the shutter speed at 50th a second at 324mm. Again, it is a 7D, so just times these millimeters by 1.6 to give you a true magnification ratio. So let's zoom in. 50%, 100%, definitely usable at 100%, I think. 200%. At 200%, because it's only 10 megapixel camera, you are starting to see some pixelization. 300%. Next picture. A nice mouse with a nut. So let's have a look at the data for the picture. 1D Mark III, 6.3, ISO 3200. So we're really pushing that ISO on this camera. 50%. I don't think you need to zoom in any more than that really, if you were to print this out. 100%. He's starting to lose a bit. 200%. I won't say usable. 300%. So the next image which is that Star Trek model that I did that test on, where I said the Sigma Contemporary is a bit sharper than the Tamron 150 to 600. So let's just have a look at the data. So this is a 7D, 600mm, f8, ISO 400. We were on a tripod, but even so, it's 13th of a second. Let's zoom in, 50%, 100%. Now at this point, when we had the Tamron lens on, it was significantly softer than this. That's why I went for this lens in the end. 200%, 300%. Right, the next one. Right, some nice flowers in a cemetery. Let's just check on the details. 7D, 6.3, ISO 400. %, 200%, 300%. We're on the medium raw settings, so it is 10 megapixel we're running at. .600mm ISO 800 f8 7D. .100%. I think there's a bit of motion there. 200%. 300%. Right, next image. Let's have a look at the picture data. 267mm f8 ISO 1600, so we're pushing the ISO a little bit. On this particular image 7D, it's actually on high settings, so maybe this will give you more of an idea of how good it is at the highest resolution, which I think is either 18 or 19 megapixels on the 7D. Don't quote me on that though. So let's just have a look. 50%, 100%. So, like I said, it's quite dark, so I had to push the ISO on this. 200%, 300%. That's interesting. That is very interesting. I don't know if you guys can see this in the picture, but if you can see the pixelization squares, which are basically the pixels on the sensor, they're only slightly smaller than having it on medium settings or from a 10 megapixel camera. So cropping isn't always an option. Sometimes it's better to have the ability to zoom in with an optical lens, because if you do crop, and a lot of people do crop, you're losing a lot of information when you crop. So preference is always zoom in if you can. And in circumstances like that, I would say a 600mm lens is probably better than a 400mm lens in most situations. So let's have a look at the next picture. .7D, it's on the high settings again, 1600 ISO, 6.3, 320th of a second. You always struggle with the shutter when it's quite dark. .100%, 200%, 300%. Right, the next image. There's another one of those flying birds that I got at the local Yorkshire Sculpture Park. Maybe if someone would like to make a comment and tell me what the bird's called, I keep forgetting. Right. It's 562mm, ISO 800, f8, 3200 for a second. 7D, it's set to the high settings again as well. So hopefully this will give us an indication of how sharp the picture is. 100%. I would say 100% this picture is certainly printable at a large size. 200%, 300%. Right, let's move on to the next image. Here are the Leeds and Bradford Airport. So let's look at the file details. 600mm, 500th of a second, f8, ISO 400. 7D, again it's on high settings, the camera. So let's just pick a section. 100%, 200%, 300. Just come out that a little bit. Right, the next image. Image data. 468mm, f22, ISO 250th and 125th of a second. Again, it's set to high settings. No, sorry, it's set to medium settings. This picture is. %, 200%, 300%. Right, the next picture, the file information is 500th a second, f8, ISO 100, so it was a very sunny day. Focal length 150th millimeters, 7D, set to medium settings. So we should have a very clean image, because the lens does perform really well between 150 and 300 millimeters. It does okay, fairly well at 500 millimeters. Tends to struggle a little bit at 600 millimeters. That's where the sport comes into its own. 100%. 200%. 300%. Right, next image. Again at the airport. 1000th a second, f8, ISO 320th, 600 millimeters. 7D, set to medium camera settings. 100%. 200%. 300%. Okay, we have the last picture here. Let's get the file info on this. Right, it's set to high settings on the 7D. 600 millimeters, ISO 1600, 6.3, 1000th of a second. All these pictures have not been manually processed or had any sort of noise reduction added to them. So they are as they should be. So let's have a look. 50%. Would you really want to crop that picture at all? It's really clear and nice. I think it's probably the sharpest here. Could do with a bit more sharper here, unfortunately. Let's zoom in at 100%. Definitely quite nice. I don't think there would be a reason to zoom in or crop at 100%, but let's keep going. 200%. 300%. So, I hope you enjoyed these examples. I just wanted to showcase the Sigma 150 to 600 contemporary lens. Despite what some people are saying, I think it's a really nice lens. And if it comes to distance, it probably beats the Canon 100 to 400 Mark II lens, because cropping sometimes isn't always an option. Thank you for listening. Thank you for taking the time to watch, and have a nice day. Bye bye.